Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Very Biased Opinions for another round of League One predictions. We've got another full round of predictions to do, as always. But before we jump into it, we just want to say thank you to those people that gave their predictions. And just like our Premier League predictions, Tom, this race is heating up week by week. We get new players all the time, but we're going to start with a guy who always gives us predictions, Manny Stapper. Another 2 correct scores for you. 8 points overall. Not the winner this week, but you were very, very close. Paul Ridgely, another winner. I wrongly said it was your first week of predicting when he'd given predictions before, and he scolded me in the comments, Thomas. Gave me a virtual ass kicking, and quite rightly so. But he came in 1 correct score and 6 points overall. Jonathan Heref, he said his heart is still fluttering and still racing after Wycombe's 97th minute winner. 5 points overall with a 1 correct score. Now we've got a new player. Great Western Railway fan. What a name. 2 points, but he missed a game out. He missed out MK Dom's Rotherham. Criminal. Next time we want all 12 from you, please. Matthew Bowden, Patreon member, friend of the channel. Very creditable, 7 points. Another correct score for the Wigan game. But we have a 2-way tie at the top of the leaderboard, and it is the pessimistic one again. Robert Allen with 9 points, 2 correct scores, and also a new player, Steve Watser, with 9 points as well, 1 correct score. But just like last week in the tiebreaker, I've got to give it to Steve Watser because he only did 11 scores. So I think if he'd have given us that 12, he would have beaten Robert Allen overall. So so close once again, Robert. So close, but we've taken that victory away from you. Well done, Steve Watser. A winner is you. Robert Allen, a wiener is you once again. Again, if you want to play for next week, leave your predictions down below on this video, and we'll give you a shout out in next week's video. It's very, very simple. Hit like, hit subscribe, and that is my grandstanding and hot dogging out of the way. It's time to jump in to these League One predictions, Thomas, and we start with Fleetwood Town. Ugh, what a place to start. Versus Wycombe Wanderers.
Ugh, what a way to start. No, Wycombe are on an absolutely insane. Are they like 9 games undefeated, I think, in League One? They're playing really good football. Inexplicably, Jonathan Harris, please tell us how this is happening. They beat Crewe 2-1. They just can't stop putting points on the board. They're up to 2nd in the league. And they're only behind on goal difference at this point. It's been a really great start for them. Fleetwood, garbage, shit, series of words. Sorry, Fleetwood Town supporters. We've never liked you and we never will. 2-1 loss to Ipswich. Nothing really to say about this, Ian.
Yeah, tale of 90th minute goals in this one. But I do have to take exception with the really good part of. I'd say Wycombe play football. They scratched the really good. Let's redact the really good part. Ryan Tapazzoli, 2 goals for Wycombe, 97th minute winner. Fleetwood were looking like they were going to get a creditable 1-1 draw against Ipswich, but went down to a 90th minute goal themselves. So 2 contrasting fortunes at the moment, but Wycombe are riding high, as you said, and you're not really going to back against them here. I think Wycombe will edge another one. I'm going to go for a 2-1. Chairboys win.
2-0. Top of the table, Plymouth, Green Army, Argyle versus Ipswich Town.
This should be a cracker. This should be a really good game. Plymouth will probably be disappointed at only getting a 1-1 draw against Morecambe. It seemed like they just wanted to walk the ball into the back of the net, and they actually did for their goal, and then they had one cleared off the line as well. But Morecambe battled hard, and I think they deserved a point in that one. We've already said Ipswich got their 2-1 win. They're looking better under Paul Cook now. They're climbing up the table. They're scoring goals. They do look a threat. And I think this one's going to be a high-scoring game, Tom. But I'll leave you to give your prediction first.
Well, I ain't no fool. 3-2 to Plymouth Argyle.
Draw, 2-2. Ipswich gets something.
Rotherham United versus Sunderland.
They did it, Thomas, didn't they? They did it. They did it. They were in such good form. They were flying high. Nothing could stop us now was the song played around the Stadium of Light. Ain't No Stopping Us Now was another one. And any other song you can think of, insert here. And then they went and lost 1-0 to Charlton. How do they do it? How do they do it all the time? But they'll need to bounce back. And this isn't going to be an easy one because Rotherham are in really good form and they had a really good win themselves at the weekend. Very, very easy victory over MK Dons, really, where they were just the more clinical side. MK Dons had chances, Rotherham just took theirs. And I think Rotherham are going to win this one. I'm going to go for a Miller's win. 2-1 win to Rotherham.
Yeah, I mean, this league is nuts right now. Plymouth, Wycombe, Wigan, Sunderland, and Rotherham are all within 3 points of each other. They're all scoring goals for fun. They're all playing really well defensively. Every week, it changes around the top. It is really hard to pick a winner from all these. I'm still sold on this Sunderland side. I still think they can do it. I say this every year. Every year, I end up losing predictions multiple times for my backing of Sunderland. So I will go with a 2-1 victory to the Cats that are black.
Wigan Athletic versus Burton Albion.
Ian, was there a club more robbed this weekend than Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank's boys, Burton Albion? They were hoodwinked. It was stolen from them. They were at home. The referee, the opposition side, everything that could go against them did. They're coming up against a Wigan team who've been absolutely fantastic this year. They won again this weekend, I think. Yep, 2-0 against Wimbledon. And just before you say anything, I've obviously got to go for a Burton win because Jimmy Floyd and my boys. 2-0 to Burton.
Well, I'm going to be backing Wigan 2-0 in this one, and they needed to get back to winning ways, and they did, and they look very efficient side this year. Wigan, very, very strong. Talk about hoodwink, Tom, and I know you're going to talk about Burton hitting the bar 18 times against Oxford, but I think Burton have pulled the wool over our eyes in terms of you saying they're a really good side and really strong side. I didn't see any of that at the Pirelli on Saturday. And I know it's only one game, a one-game sample size, and I know their league position says otherwise, and they probably played Oxford at their best, and they were probably off the pace and probably missing a few players. But I'm going to say they're the worst side in League One. Terrible, awful, pathetic. 2-0 Wigan.
Charlton Athletic versus Doncaster Rovers.
How is it in football that this happens all the time? That a team looks hapless, a team looks terrible, you take the manager out, and all of a sudden they get an amazing result in a game no one would have predicted them to win at all. That is Charlton Athletic. Adkins' curse is over. He's out of the club, and then all of a sudden they go up to Sunderland and get a fantastic 1-0 win, and all of a sudden their season looks completely different. Doncaster as well can say the same thing. They got a much-needed victory. Nothing comes easy for Doncaster at the moment, Tom. 3-2 win over Cheltenham Town. They did their best to throw it away. Keeper with a massive flap for the second goal. An unbelievable come to claim and miss. And for a Cheltenham player to head into an empty net. Penalty save in there as well for Doncaster. So they did their best to throw away that easy victory, but they came away with a 3-2 win. But I think Charlton are going to get back-to-back wins here. I think that was a blip for Doncaster, and Charlton will start to move up the table now. 2-1 Addicks.
1-0 to the Addicks.
Cheltenham Town versus Sheffield Wednesday.
Ian, how does Sheffield Wednesday just keep picking up random points? It's beyond me. It's not a great team. I don't like watching them play. Yeah.
They threw away points in this one against Link. They were winning 1-0 with a pretty decent counter-attacking goal, and then just switched off from a set piece at the end and let Monsmer equalise. And it's not, again, they're just very disjointed side. And I think you're absolutely right to not back them in any way because they don't look backable at the moment.
No, and Cheltenham, obviously, we talked about that. They just lost this game 3-2, but they're doing much better than we thought they'd do this season, and credit to them. I'm going to go with a draw in this one, though. I'm going to go with a 1-1 draw.
It does seem like Sheffield Wednesday are going to take over Sunderland's draw king mantle for this season in League One. And I think mainly as well, because sides like Cheltenham, I hate that derogatory term, but they'll look at teams like Sheffield Wednesday coming to the Johnny Rock Stadium as this is a bit of a cup final. You know, it'll be a big crowd there. Sheffield Wednesday, a big named club coming there. And the fans will be up for it and the crowd will be up for it. And it'll be a good one, but I think it'll be 1-1.
And on that bombshell, I just very quickly would like to say that if you're enjoying this channel, please like, comment, and subscribe, but consider supporting us on Patreon. A very quick shout out to all of our current Patreon subscribers on, I believe, the League One setting. So that's Matthew Bowden, PJ Simpson, Christina Allen, Robert Allen, and the effervescent Grandstand Betters. If you're interested in betting advice or another fantastic YouTube channel, head on over to their site. They are absolutely brilliant at what they do. A fantastic tipster website. The guy who runs it, Matt, is an absolute genius. Get over there, win yourself some money. And on that fantastic, wonderful piece of advice from Very Biased Opinions, we move on to the second half as the Danny Cowley brothers manage Portsmouth against Bolton Wanderers.
I didn't think you'd be as brazen as to name Bolton's manager. Oxfordshire's own Sam Allardyce. Oxfordshire's own Temple Cowley brothers actually got a pretty decent draw in the end against Accrington Stanley. It was a topsy-turvy game, but the bits of quality that they have in terms of Ronan Curtis and Marcus Harness got them goals in this one. And it was a tale of 2-2 draws between these two sides, because Bolton had a 2-2 draw against Gillingham, where they were dreadful, and Gillingham deserved to beat them, but they got 2 goals late in the game and came back to get a point. So two sides not in the best of form, and it's going to be a bit of a draw special on Very Biased Opinions, because I'm going for another Desmond here. 2-2.
Yeah, I'm copying that. Neither of these sides are happy with where they're at. Neither of these sides are playing the football they want to. Both of them have an error or two in them. Doesn't matter who's winning at 2-1. The other side will equalize and the game will peter out. Gillingham versus Accrington Stanley.
Going to go for 1-0 Gillingham win here. I think Gillingham I wouldn't say it's starting to click, but they're looking more solid, and they're picking up points now, and they're not doing great in the table, but they really should have won against Bolton, and I think they'll back that up with a really hard-earned, hard-fought win over Accrington Stanley, who are a good side but a very inconsistent side, and I think Gillingham will just use the old tactics of the long throws and the corners and the set pieces and come out with a 1-0 win.
And only because I cannot show weakness on this channel am I going to go with an Accrington win. But I agree, I think Gillingham are looking a lot better. I think Stanley definitely aren't as good away from home, and they have it in them to kind of have these little blips. So 2-1 to Stanley.
Lincoln City versus Shrewsbury.
Lincoln came from behind, I believe, to draw with Sheffield Wednesday, but that'll be a result that they really were hoping to win that game. But Shrewsbury Town, with possibly the result of the weekend, with a second behind Charlton, but a 4-1 victory over Cambridge United, all of a sudden the goals are flowing in, and Ian has a theory about why that is.
Third best result behind Oxford's win at the Pirelli. When Oxford played Shrewsbury, I thought Shrewsbury looked all right. I thought they looked a pretty decent, organised side, but they just had no cutting edge. You put some cutting edge in there, and all of a sudden they're a pretty decent side. I'm actually very thankful that Oxford played Shrewsbury while Ryan Baumann was not in this first team. I'm going to assume he was injured because we know he's a goal scorer. He scored a lot of goals at League Two of Exeter. He scored a hat-trick in their win over Cambridge, and they looked a completely different side with a clinical finisher up front, as any side would really. So beware Lincoln City, and I think that lightning might strike twice here, and I'm going to go for another Shrewsbury win. I just think Lincoln look a little bit I've used the word disjointed. That's the only word I can say about it. I think that 1-1 draw was a little bit lucky in the end against Sheffield Wednesday, and I think it'll be a 2-1 Shrewsbury Town win.
Not looking great for Lincoln. I can't believe I'm copying you. 2-1.
Wow. What an argument. I've convinced him. Let's see if I can convince him for a win for Crewe versus the MK Dons.
Yeah, that's absolutely most certainly not going to happen. Despite MK Dons coming completely unstuck in the last 5 games and only picking up 4 points, they're definitely too strong for one of the worst sides in League One right now, Crewe, who've lost 3 on the bounce. I don't think they've won a game in like 8 matches or something unreal. Their goal difference is abysmal. They've conceded, I think, the second most, or tied for the second most in the league, which is pretty bad. MK Dons are too good. They're going to possess the ball a lot. They definitely need to get the ball past this Crewe side. I'm going to go with a 3-1 Dons victory.
Yeah, both of these sides like to play football, and MK Dons are just going to be far too good at playing football against a Crewe side that are bottom of the league and look like they should be bottom of the league, although they were very unlucky with that 2-1 win, 2-1 defeat to Wycombe. MK Dons had chances against Rotherham. They really did. They just missed them, and Rotherham took them, and that was the big difference. But they still look a good side. They're just, as I say, a very enigmatic side, and I think that Milton Keynes will win by 3-0.
Cambridge United versus AFC Wimbledon.
Cambridge's goal in their loss was worthy of looking at because it was a belter, but they're not doing well at the moment. AFC Wimbledon will beat them 2-0.
Ooh. 2-1.
But we've regaled you with tales up and down the country that none of you really care about. None of you have come to see that. You've all come to see this final match. It is time for the main event.
Oxford United hosting Morecambe.
What a phenomenal win over Burton, Tom. Oxford, in my video, I said it was the best performance of the season, and I stand by it. Oxford were excellent from minute 1 to minute 94, and especially when Burton gave you a nice little gift after 45, 49, 50 seconds, however long it was, for Matty Taylor to score, and it just became the usual tale of can Oxford take their chances, and they did. They looked a cut above Burton in that game. Having Herbie Kane in the deep-lying midfield role, he looked fantastic. Brannigan and Henry and Sykes and Holland all looked a constant threat through the game. Taylor looks like back to his annoying best. They actually look like they're getting a bit of cohesion at the back. But the big thing, Tom, and you probably don't know this, Jack Stevens is out. He's got glandular fever, so he's going to be out for at least a few weeks. So it did mark the return of Simon Eastwood. He had literally nothing to do in the game other than pick the ball out of the back of the net. Poor Simon Eastwood cannot buy a clean sheet for love nor money, even in games where he has nothing to do. But I've got no problems with Eastwood being back in the side. He's a very good goalkeeper. Robinson's not on the sidelines, so it should be a big house because Oxford have reduced the ticket prices for this one. So hopefully there'll be a large crowd at the Kassam Stadium to roar us to victory. I think the key to victory is Oxford have got to press the life out of this Morecambe side, who don't like to play high. They like to sit deep, and they like to just get the ball quickly out to their wingers and try and get it into Stockton, who is their main goal threat, and he is a bit lethal up front. So if Oxford need to press them, press high, try and win the ball back for them, and they should have no trouble doing that. I'm going to go for a 3-0 Oxford win.
Right, yeah, now that you've talked all this sense and made an impassioned argument and said all these things that make sense, I'm going to lower the tone. Now, Carl Robinson is very against people not having the COVID vaccine, and he was very public about that. He said, Jeremiah Sykes might never make it back in the team, but now that he himself has COVID-19, is Carl Robinson allowed back in the team, or is he going to have to bench himself?
I think that for the good of everybody, I think that Carl Robinson should stay at home.
Exactly. Excellent. Motion pass. Oxford United are going to be way too strong for this Morecambe side. If they can't get a result here, it is just going to be that sort of season for you guys. Definite. Should be a win. Should be in complete control.
What a bullshit comment. That sort of season for you guys. You're not allowed one. You're not allowed a blip in a 46. Nope. No. Okay.
Nope. Ian, what is the title of our program? What is the title?
It's so stupid.
And on that bombshell,
fine, go for it.
On that bombshell, 2-0 to Oxford United. It's going to be a good game. Ian,
anyway, it's going to be that sort of a season for you. You got in the playoffs last season after literally being dog shit for the first 9 games, had little blips along the way like a loss to Northampton, and we still got it. So what are you talking about?
I'm just riling you up as it works.
Finish it off.
Thank you all for watching.
This doesn't make any sense.
Ian will be back with you on Saturday doing a review video for the Oxford versus Morecambe game. Please tune in for that and catch us next week with more Premier League and League One predictions. Ian, one more time? Anything else?
I've got nothing to add. You just annoyed the poop out of me.
Sounds fair. Please like, comment, subscribe. We'll check you out next week.